Okay, guys, I don't know who's listening, but I am going to do the intro for the podcast tonight. It's not scripted, and Greg is more articulate than I am, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Just go.
So this is the 52, where we review Netflix originals. Only 52 of them. Apparently, there are more. Initially, when the podcast was pitched, though, to me, there was only going to be like 52 movies. Like, that's not true.
My
But anyway,
apologies.
it's okay. So, anyway, we chose for this episode, I Care a Lot with Rosemund Pike. And essentially, can I talk about the plot a little bit now?
You absolutely can. You can just
Okay.
head right in.
Cool. So, I'm doing a little tiny synopsis from Wiki. The film follows a court appointed guardian who seizes the assets of elderly people for her own, only for her to get mixed up with a dangerous gangster. That's actually pretty on point.
Without giving enough away.
Yeah, exactly.
Or too much.
Yeah. So we basically see Rosamund Pike kind of do her thing because she's like a bad bitch. And she she basically just gets old people put in homes, and these are people that are not necessarily senile. I mean, if they're not senile by the time she gets to them, she will make them senile because she will get them put into homes where they get drugged up. And she kind of has like a line of people.
Yeah, so
helping
like basic
her out.
description of her job is, for whatever reason, and I don't think I've ever actually heard of this before the movie,
I think it's real though.
and I thought it would be a medical professional, but apparently if somebody, and I don't even think they have to be old, if somebody just can't take care of themselves, whether they have a next of kin or not, their doctor can convene an emergency hearing for a court appointed guardian to take care of that person. So what's her character's name?
Oh, I don't even know her name. I was just thinking of her as Rosamund Pike. What is her name? Marla.
Marla
Yeah.
has turned this into a business. So she conducts sort of trade-offs with doctors throughout whatever city they're in, because I don't even think they mentioned that.
She's in Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Okay. So in Massachusetts, wherever specifically they may be, she has deals with several doctors, one that they show particularly in the movie, and they look for patients that are starting to display signs of sort of like memory failure, dementia, that kind of thing, or maybe physically not being able to take care of themselves. They convene emergency hearings where the person who is the subject of that hearing doesn't even have to show up or be represented or even be notified of the hearing. She has found this family court judge who's very open to her taking care of these people because she's created this very heavenly, I only care to do this because I care about those people kind of vibe. So he thinks that she's genuinely concerned with these people's well-being.
Yeah, it's actually nice because he's not in cahoots with everyone else.
No, everybody else is on the books, but he actually cares about these people and thinks that she cares about them, which is almost more fucked up. So he appoints her as the guardian, and because she has guardianship over these people, she has control over all of their assets, liquid or not, and control over their well-being. So she takes these older people, she throws them into a home. Whether she treats them nicely or not depends on how much money they actually have for her to burn through. She immediately sells all of the stuff inside of their house. They renovate the houses, and then they sell the houses, the vehicles, and basically everything else that person owns, throw it into a bank account, and then bill themselves on hours that they supposedly spend taking care of these people. To the point where she literally has a wall full of the pictures of people that she has guardianship over, and these little stickers that they never actually describe what they mean,
Yeah.
that she places on the bottom of the photos. And I think it has to do with how many medical incidents that person has had inside of the home.
Well, I wasn't thinking that. I was even thinking, like, maybe what their socioeconomic background is and things like that, possibly. Like, who's more valuable.
Well, I don't know, because
how many years
one guy
left.
was like, oh, that person had a stroke, and she put, like, a red dot on their picture.
Well, I don't know. But, what's interesting, though, is we get a little snippet of her world, and then, the status quo is broken when a man dies. And then his room opens up or what have you. And then one of the doctors that she talks to lets her know that there's this woman who makes a lot of money, whatever, is showing a couple of signs of dementia, but nothing like really crazy. But she's like, okay, we can spin it. And she has no children. I think they called her a cherry.
Mm-hmm.
So basically she goes in and we see her from the ground up, like, do her thing. But this woman's actually decently coherent. If you want to talk a little more, like, about that. But, like, she just shows up to her house.
What's the old lady's name?
I don't even know what the old woman's name is. Yeah, she's a wealthy retiree. Jennifer Peterson.
Okay. So Jennifer Peterson, I wouldn't have even... if I were Marla, would not have taken her. Because the story that we know about Jennifer Peterson is that she worked in banking her entire... for quite some time. To the point where she has quite sizable bank accounts. Several of them. She drives a nice car. She's supposedly showing memory issues, but she, like, really takes care of herself. Her house looks nice. Everything's well appointed. She does, like, water Pilates on weekdays. She takes herself out to eat. Like, she is very much a put together older lady. And this doctor calls Marla, says, hey, I give you a cherry. You give me a portion of the stock that you own in, it was like a care company that deals with nursing homes. So Marla's double dipping. Because first of all, she's putting these people in the nursing homes and taking their money as billable hours. But then also she's buying stock in the nursing homes that she's putting these people into.
She's making bread.
Yeah. And she has people underneath her that are scheduling all of these things. She has real estate agents. She has appraisal agents. All kinds of people running this operation. So they take Jennifer Peterson's case to court. The doctor signs an affidavit and also testifies in court saying that she's having issues. She plays it off to the judge. The judge is like, can you even handle this? You're taking such good care of so many people. And she gets all choked up and she's like, well, if she needs me, I'll be there.
Yeah, I care.
So the judge is like, boom, do it, signs it, slams the gavel. She shows up at Jennifer Peterson's house and is like, hey, what's up? I'm your guardian. Sorry, you're getting out of the house. You're going to this nursing home. Pack your bag, bitch.
Yeah, basically.
And Jennifer's like, I'm not fucking going anywhere.
And they're like, well, actually you are, because there was armed people.
She had the sheriff's office outside of the house waiting.
She's like, don't worry, like, if there's a mistake here, we'll get it all cleared up.
Although there's one thing you skipped over.
What?
The beginning of this movie starts off with a disgruntled son of one of the people that she has taken guardianship over.
Yes, he was like, yes.
So we see her in court supposedly acting nice. Like, that's where the cover comes from with the judge. That's when we first start seeing the way she manipulates him.
But we believe her.
Of course we believe her, because this guy does sound crazy. All we saw was a scene of that guy trying to break into the nursing home, trying to fight the security guard to get in there. Then it transitions to her in court, and she's like, the guy's trying to say that she's taken over his mother's life, that his mother is fine, but she's not allowed to see him and this and that. And Marla's like, of course you're not allowed to see your mother. The last time you went to try and visit her, you destroyed the lobby and assaulted the security guard.
Well, actually, I kind of read the situation a little bit differently. I was under the impression that he really was a shitty son.
He might have been a shitty son.
And he's like, you're not letting me see my mom. I think he wanted whatever the mom had.
We don't know. But either way,
we don't know.
She's also a shitty person. Like,
but we didn't know then.
Technically, even if he is a shitty son, he's legally deserving of inheriting whatever his mother has.
Yeah, but they play him off as like a misogynist because I think he said some like really nasty
some crazy shit about her. And then she was like, he came up to her after court and she was like, I've been threatened by thousands of men and only 2 men have ever done anything that fucking bothers me. If you come and spit in my face again, I'm going to rip your dick and balls off, basically.
Yeah. It was gangster and was feminist and I was about it.
And she's gay.
Yeah, that's right. She is gay. They don't make it about her being gay.
And they don't make it about her being gay. Perfect, because it doesn't need to be about her being gay. It just needs to be part of her life.
Yeah.
And honestly, there need to be more lesbian power couples in modern media.
Because bitches getting together they're bad. Like, yeah. They were bad.
They were a sick couple. Like, yeah. They were both part of the business, which sometimes causes issues when you run a business with your significant other. But they were fucking getting it done.
They were doing
like
really
Marla
well.
Was the face in court, and I forget her girlfriend's name, but she was like the muscle of the operation. She was dealing with investigating the people to make sure that they didn't have any attachments.
Her name was Fran.
Or Frankie, but she didn't like being called that.
Yeah.
Whatever that meant. Kind of sounds like she had a fling with that police officer.
Yeah.
That's why she doesn't go by Frankie anymore. So they take down Jennifer Peterson. They get her into the nursing home. Marla finds out her phone's password, takes the phone away from her because in the nursing home they're not allowed to have their cell phones, which is how she keeps the wards from contacting anybody on the outside.
Marla does something else that's pretty crazy. She basically tells the doctor how to dose them.
Yeah.
As in, like, she will get them fucked up, like, on meds. So if they didn't have dementia or whatever, they, like, definitely show signs of it now. Like,
well, because they're fucked up.
They're fucked up. On, like, they're crazy drugs.
They're typically just on sedatives because she doesn't want them to be too coherent and actually be able to think about where they are or what their situation was. The whole thing that Marla uses to her advantage is that they are older. And even if you're older and you do have a general well sense of being, somebody shows up to your house, says they're your guardian, has sheriffs there, kicks you out, throws you into a nursing home, you're confused as fuck.
You're already...
You're confused as fuck. You can't take care of yourself because you're probably frail. You're not strong enough to actually resist any of that. You weren't even told that the court event happened. And now you're in a nursing home surrounded by a bunch of geriatric old fucks who don't know what the fuck is going on either. And Marla's telling you that they have your medication, like they have all your prescriptions, so you just take the pills that they give you because you think that those are your prescriptions, but really she's adding extra shit.
But also, you don't, this is a little tidbit, but when you're in a home or any type of place where you're under their supervision, you take whatever meds they give you.
You don't really have a choice.
You don't have a choice at all. You definitely don't have a choice at all.
What the hell happens next? As they're clearing out Jennifer Peterson's home, Marla finds a key underneath a desk drawer that she somehow immediately knows is the key to a safety deposit box in a specific bank that looked bougie as all fuck. Mm-hmm. And they clear out Jennifer's house. They have painters there repainting the place. They have carpenters like fixing things up, the whole deal. And Fran is at the house overseeing this. She's looking through like different paint swatches to see what they're going to paint the kitchen. And some weird dude pulls up in a taxi and is like, I'm here for Jennifer Peterson. Fran is like, she moved. Like, she's not here. Dude panics, walks away. She's asking why he was even there. Like, who called the cab? Gets in the cab, flies away.
And then we also see that when Marla goes to the safety deposit box, she like sees like whatever papers. Then there's just like a little thing of jewels.
What do you mean whatever papers?
Like, I don't think they were like...
That lady had a lot of shit in that safety deposit box.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of shit, but it wasn't worth anything
to her. There were
her.
bonds.
There were jewels.
Yeah, but bearer bonds are in the hands of the bearer. Like, you can use them They're not signed.
Marla
There's no
didn't
name on
seem
them.
all that interested in these bonds. She seemed to be very interested in this little...
Honestly, if she had paid more attention to what was going on there were a lot of weird clues about the fact that this lady was not the lady that she was talking about. There were multiple passports.
Yeah.
There was that weird Bible or book that ended up having diamonds in them, sure. But there were also like weird Deutsche Bank bearer bonds. Just strange things in there. And like $100 watch. That's a sketchy situation. Why does this lady have $5 million worth of diamonds and $100 watch?
I don't know, actually. I think Greg would have picked up on this because I don't think I would have either. But yeah, so anyway, that guy who runs off in the cab, we end up seeing him go to a parking lot, and then we get introduced to the main... I don't know if I'd call him the villain of the film. I don't know what's his name. Do you know what his actual name is?
Is he a villain?
Because I'm not sure, but what's the actor's name?
Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage. That's right. I couldn't remember his name.
But we see him in in like a bakery picking up like macarons.
Yeah, but we don't know who he is.
Nah, we just see a short man in a suit.
Yeah, so then he rolls up and he's like, "Yo, like, where's my mom?" Like, oh, so this his mother. Okay. We thought she had no children. That was the whole point of her being a cherry.
Because Fran looked into her.
Yeah.
She was clear.
She had no next of kin, no family, no nothing. And the guy's like, they said she moved, you know? But then we see things get kind of heated because Peter Dinklage is a gangster, actually. And he's like, that's not a fucking answer. And I'm pretty... Did he, like, pull out a gun on him? Like, he was, like, gonna murder him?
He took a bite out of an eclair. And then with his dirty hands had another guy hand him a gun and basically just pointed it straight at that guy's head and was like, why didn't you find out where my mother went?
Yeah.
Because also, why didn't you find out where his mother went?
I think he was really frazzled. I would have been too.
That guy definitely had some sort of developmental issue.
Well, that's why I would have also...
Throughout like the entire film, there's definitely something off about him.
So yeah, so now we know Marla's like... trouble's heading her way, like, obviously.
Kind of in deep shit.
But it's weird though, because there's a moment in the film where you're like, well, really it could just end here, because Peter Dinklage, he hires this lawyer to go in and talk to Marla. Well, anyway, he knows what happens to her, like she's this guardian, etc., whatever. Yeah, so anyway, they hire this lawyer to go in and talk to Marla, like they know what happened. And so she can basically just get out of jail free card, like just give back, the mother.
He offers her $150,000.
Yeah, but they even barter up to like $300 or some $1,000, something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And she's just like, no. She like literally was like, no. And you're like immediately like, why the fuck are you saying no? Like you're already getting
because she doesn't accept threats from men.
Well, that's part of it. But also there's these diamonds that are worth way, way more. It's just that she's going to be in a shit ton of trouble. Like, I just don't know if it's worth it. But yeah, so she tells the lawyer basically to fuck off. And,
you know what the problem is with that? We don't know how much Marla makes. We assume Marla makes a lot of money. And I have to guess that it is over like $150,000 a year.
Oh, for sure.
Or at least close to it. But if your yearly salary is close to $150,000 a year, if somebody offers you a year's worth of money and then doubles that, you take it.
But it was really the threat thing too, right? She just doesn't take threats from men.
It has to have partially been the threat and partially been the possibility of fencing the diamonds and making $3 or $4 million.
She's a shark. She's a shark.
But when somebody comes into my office, offers me $300,000 and says I can either take that or I'm going to die, if the fact that guy has $300,000 in a briefcase is immediately telling me that they are fully capable of murdering me.
Yeah.
Like, it's not an option of like whether or not they'll be able to. They're clearly capable of doing that.
That's true. So it gets a little risky. Like, then you're
I would have definitely just gave that guy the diamonds and been like, thank you for the offer. Like, very kind of you.
Yeah, and then there's all, like, a whole nother room open, she could just start again, find another old person to, gouge. And what's so interesting is the first thing she does is she goes back to the nursing home and like kind of demands to know what's going on and like who that lawyer is and whatever.
And Jennifer's playing hard, boy.
She's being a little bit of a bitch.
She's not telling her anything.
She's like, I'm not telling you anything. You fucked up. She's laughing because she's fucked up on her drugs. She's like,
yeah, because she's definitely out of it. Like she's high as fuck on whatever the hell they gave her. Because
like, she
kept acting crazy and trying to break out of the nursing home. So she's been sedated multiple times, and the lady, when Marla went in, basically said, like, you won't be able to get anything out of her. She can't really talk right now. And so Marla's dealing with, like, this 75-year-old fucked up old bitch who's like, fuck you. I'm not telling you. You fucked up. Yeah. What day is it? Whoop. Should have seen my son yesterday, bitch.
Yeah. And so then Marla retaliates by going to the doctor. Is like, I want you to change her meds to this, this, and this.
Dude, she said some crazy shit. He said, give her downers in the morning, give her uppers at night, take away her arthritis medication, take away her pain management medication. Like
she doesn't get to leave her room.
Don't let her out of her room except for 30 minutes a day.
Yeah.
All kinds of shit. No recreational room, nothing.
You would have thought this was fucking Shawshank. Like, the way she was talking to this old woman. So yeah. And I have to think about what happened next, because I don't really...
Oh, so you were just running on adrenaline?
No, I had it in my head, and then I got lost in the sauce.
They find out where Jennifer is being held. And while that's happening, we also see a scene... No, that happens later. Either way, they find out where Jennifer's being held. So the one cab driver dude and two enforcers roll up on the nursing home.
We missed something.
What do we miss?
Fran discovers that Jennifer Peterson, right after this, was an identity stolen from a girl who died of polio. That's not even her name. She found that out
after the lawyer came to the office.
Yes.
So then they start thinking, like, who the fuck is Jennifer Peterson? And that's what prompted Marla to go to the nursing home and both ask who she is, tell her that she knew that she wasn't who she was, and wanted to know who was coming after them.
And then Roman, which was Peter Dinklage's name, he finds out that the safe deposit box has been rifled through.
Which was interesting the way he accessed it. Because there's only one key... Well, he has access to the safety deposit box in an indirect manner because obviously those are his diamonds. So he goes to the bank, opens his own box, and there's a key to his mother's box there, which he uses to open it up and find that there are no diamonds. I thought that was interesting.
That was kind of cool. It was like more gangstery.
So Roman's thugs pull up on the nursing home. They talk to the people in the lobby and say that they called ahead and they're getting a tour by the manager of the nursing home because they're trying to put their father there and they want to make sure that the environment is right. So they look around, they get the tour. At the end of the tour, the guy's like, have any questions? And he's like, no, I don't have any questions. I just want to see one of my dad's friends, Jennifer Peterson. Is she available? So the manager is like, no, you definitely can't see her. She's only allowed to be seen if her guardian gives permission. And he's like, what kind of place is this? A jail? And the guy's like, well, we definitely can't help you out. Like, you can't see her at all. Gets tased. Just fucking, they tase him in the neck. Dude drops. They start running around trying to find Jennifer's room. The body of the manager is found. They set off the alarm. The security guard goes running in. They find Jennifer Peterson. They grab her. As they're grabbing her, the security guard, who is armed, which I did not see coming, starts having a firefight in the middle of this hallway of a nursing home with 3 Russian gangsters. He gets shot. He shoots 2 of them. The cab driver dude grabs Jennifer Peterson, grabs the gun.
Oh, Alexei. His name's Alexei.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Alexei tries to walk out of the nursing home. There's like a group of people who aren't letting them out. He just points the gun at them and is like, are you really going to sacrifice your life for this old bitch? They say no. They open up the door. He starts walking out. The police are obviously already on their way. But Marla was also on her way because she was notified immediately. Somehow. I don't even know who the fuck called her. She pulls up. Peter Dinklage is in like the parking lot, so he sees her pull up. He notices that all of this is happening. He can't do anything because he's not trying to expose himself. Alexei walks out with Jennifer. Marla smacks the shit out of him with like a bat.
Yeah, I was gonna say Marla actually got violent. Like she showed up and took names. Like
Fran threw him to the ground after and started throwing handcuffs on him. Jennifer's running. Just try as fast as that old bitch can run towards the car because she knows that Roman is there. And one of the nurses just rolls up on her and is like, that's it. That's as far as you go. Vacation's over. Because he thinks he's just some stupid, crazy old lady who's getting kidnapped. Not that like she's going to her rescue. So they bring her back in. The cops come. Everything's handled. Roman just sees all this shit happen from like 20 feet away. His mom got within 10 feet of the car. So he's seething with rage, but also sad because he sees his mom just basically get dragged away.
But yes, so Alexei actually gets arrested. And then Fran's police contact informs them that Alexei...
Ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, she was also the ex-girlfriend, supposedly. I don't know, it's implied anyway. That he was the sibling of two other mafia bosses. His siblings were mafia bosses. Alexei's, yeah.
No, his one brother worked with the mafia too, and then their boss died in the fire.
It says Alexei is the sibling of two other mafia bosses who supposedly died in a fire.
They were all brothers?
The ones who were not, stupid. Yeah, I guess so. That's what it says. I mean... But anyway, having failed to rescue their mother, Roman actually has the doctor who told the judge that his mom was had dementia or whatever killed.
Yeah.
So shit got real. Like he was like, okay, like
she was definitely closing the office for the night, and some dude just fucking blew her brains out. Got murked.
Yeah, she definitely was killed. So again, the film took a different turn at that point for me personally because I was like, we're not playing games anymore. Like one of Marlo's people is dead. Like
yeah. So Fran and Marla both start panicking,
freaking out,
pack their shit, and find a list. They get a list of not abandoned properties, but properties that they technically own through the guardianship but haven't been sold yet. And they go to one of those properties as a safe house.
Oh my God. This sentence is scathing. It says, after hearing the news, Marla and Fran move into one of the unsold properties of one of Marla's previous victims. Damn, I would have not... I didn't think of them as victims. I didn't think of them as victims.
She's a villain.
She's an anti-hero.
She's a villain.
She's
an persecuted by a greater villain.
No, I think she's an anti-hero because I think I was rooting for Marla.
Also, one of my favorite semi-subtle aspects of this movie is that she vapes out of like a giant silver vape.
I was gonna ask you, it's the weirdest thing because
like it's enormous, it's huge. And it's almost Cruella de Villian just based on its size and her attitude, and she does it both subconsciously and also to put emphasis on certain things.
For dramatic effect, yes.
In the way that cigarettes typically are used in film. To look sexy, to be dramatic, and to put emphasis on certain things. She uses this vape, which I thought was interesting because it's really the first time I've seen it used well to the point where you're not like, they're just doing that to make that person vape. Like, she looked like she just vapes.
It was just so weird, though, because, Greg and I have a little bit of history, I guess, with vaping. I've just never seen anyone vape like that in real life. And it was a big one, kind of.
It was huge.
Yeah. It wasn't like one of those little pocket
It's like
vapes.
a
It was
huge
really
silver
big.
dildo. Present throughout the entire movie.
Yes. So I was wondering if he would have noticed that because we didn't watch it together. Okay, at the facility. This is Jennifer attacks Marla and is moved to a psychiatric ward.
So even though all of this is happening, the doctor's been murdered, they're packing up to go to the safe house, Marla actually visits Jennifer one last time and goads her into attacking her. Not that she necessarily knew exactly how Jennifer would attack her, but she said some crazy shit to Jennifer. Jennifer gets up pretending to walk away and starts choking the shit out of Marla. But because they're in the nursing home, they obviously responded to that quickly and sedated her. But she goes to court in the middle of all of this to that same fucking judge and shows him a video of Jennifer strangling her. And the judge is horrified because he doesn't know any of the story of this. So he's just like, damn. Like, her health has really declined that much so quickly. And Marla's just fake ass crocodile tears trying to claim that she was killing her, that it's so sad that her health has deteriorated so quickly and that she needs to be moved to a secure psychiatric facility as soon as possible, which she's really just doing so that Jennifer can either never escape or be rescued.
Yes, which I think is particularly petty at this point, but nonetheless, badass.
Well, because they're literally being hunted.
Well, yes,
because the doctor was just murdered, and she's still taking the time to visit Jennifer in the nursing home so that she can get that video of her choking her, and also going to an emergency session in family court.
But the next thing that happens is a little bit crazy too. So Marla ends up being kidnapped while Fran was attacked. So clearly Roman is the one who attacked her, and then when he, releases her from the car or whatever, and she's, on the floor, whatever. She asked for $10 million.
What are you talking about? The interrogation? Why'd you say released from the car?
Well, because, he kidnapped her and then he let her out.
He fucking tied her up in a chair in the middle of a It was a
parking lot, but yeah.
It was a construction field.
Well, what I'm saying is
This is an interrogation. He didn't release her.
Okay, whatever. Interrogation. And
she
has audacity to ask for $10 million for Jennifer's release.
She has some really big balls because he's just staring her down, and he's like, "Not that I'm even gonna let this happen, but what would it take for you to just let this be?" And she just flat out said $10 million.
Just a shit ton of money.
He was like, "Are you not even afraid of what's gonna happen?" And she said, "I don't give a fuck."
Yeah. So obviously he refuses because that's crazy.
Although Fran was fucking brutalized. Yeah, Marla, almost nothing happens to her, but Fran was definitely had this shit beaten out of her.
Yeah, no, that's true. But she was left behind.
Yeah, but that's fucked up.
I'm not saying that.
Why they gotta beat up Fran like that?
Fran was in on this.
Yeah, but they really fucked her up.
Yeah, so basically what they do...
Although the scene where they kidnapped Marla was hilarious.
Yeah.
She got fucking trank darted in, the thigh.
But yeah, so they knock her out with chloroform, and they set her up in a car.
Which, for the record, not that quick.
Okay, I don't know how that works. Greg may have used chloroform on someone, I'm not sure, but I don't know how that works.
Definitely didn't happen. I just know the function of chloroform.
Yeah, because that's a thing people know. Anyway,
it was an anesthetic before typical modern anesthesia existed.
Why are you telling me more facts? It doesn't make it less suspicious.
Whatever.
Anyway, they set her up in a car that ends up driving into a lake. So she's driving.
Well, they set her up.
They set her up to be driving. They
pumped vodka into her body through a stomach tube.
To make it seem like she'd been drinking.
Lifted her car on a jack and then put her deadened foot onto the gas pedal.
Well, she ended up driving through a forest, kind of, before hitting a lake.
Through a barrier, through a forest, and over a cliff into
and
the
she
fucking
kind of woke up in the midst of all of this. And then, she gets up unconscious or whatever. hits the lake, and she tries to get out, and we're like, is she gonna fucking make it? And somehow this bitch survives. She breaks out the back window, and she surfaces.
And when she climbs onto the beach at the lake, first of all, her scream of rage, amazing. But second, the thing that she seemed the most annoyed about was that her tooth came out when they
she even
when they
took
knocked
it.
her out, and they punched her to fucking knock her out. I guess they knocked one of her teeth loose. She pulled it out by hand.
And you know what's really the thing I really loved about it is that she went to a gas station
soaking wet.
She bought a bottle of milk and put her tooth in it.
Well, yeah, because it preserves
exactly, because that's how much she cared about her fucking tooth.
Yeah. Yeah, because in most movies, they'll be like, oh, shit, a tooth. They'll just fucking throw it away.
Yeah, like, she's like, I gotta go get some milk for this. She's hilarious. And then, anyway, she escapes, returns home to find Fran unconscious and badly bruised.
With
gas
running.
Filling. Yeah, gas running. So they narrowly escape the explosion. And they flee to another unsold property.
A victim's
of another, property. I guess, another victim's property. Oh, yeah, and Marla shows Fran diamonds that she has hidden there. I forgot about that.
Which also, speaking of the way Fran was brutalized, movies act too light about this. But if somebody is beaten so badly that you find their head surrounded by a pool of blood, whether that person regains consciousness or not, they're fucked for life.
Oh,
like,
really?
Fran would have basically been a vegetable.
Ooh, I didn't think that.
Movies take injuries to the head way too lightly. Fran was eating French toast the next fucking morning with, like, a bandage on her forehead.
Okay.
First of all, you get punched in the fucking mouth, you're not eating shit for, like, the next 2 days.
Damn.
Because it's gonna hurt.
I guess humans are more
And if you get your
fragile.
head smashed around so much that it's bleeding profusely to the point where you're surrounded by a pool of blood, you either have such a severe concussion that you would be in the hospital for weeks, or at least like several days. You might have language issues. You might have memory issues. Fran's eating French toast and berries the next morning.
I'm almost wondering if I have gotten a concussion and I don't remember.
Probably. People take injuries to the head way too fucking lightly.
I have language issues.
No, stop it. But yeah, Marla was hiding the diamonds in the coffee, in like the ground coffee in that house. I don't know how.
Okay, so this is the crazy part though too, because they have all these diamonds worth all this fucking money. They can go anywhere. So Marla, she offers Fran a choice. She said they can either use the diamonds to leave right away and start a new life elsewhere, always looking over their shoulder. I hate when they say they're like, you're always going to be looking over your shoulder. You could flee to anywhere in the fucking world. They're not going to find you.
Yeah, I mean, like, Roman is like, well connected.
Not that well connected.
But if you disappear to a bungalow in Costa Rica, that guy's never fucking finding you.
Yeah.
Never finding you.
Or they can get revenge. Which, of course...
And keep the diamonds.
Yeah, well, supposedly if the revenge works.
Yeah.
And of course they choose revenge.
Because why not?
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same reason why she didn't choose the money.
Yeah.
Her big swinging balls.
So anyway, they track down Roman through his license plate number and they kidnap him, drug him, steal his car.
Hey. That was a fascinating sequence.
Well, did they kidnap him?
The way she kidnapped him was beast, bro.
I'm not saying it's not, but
she infiltrated the building that his office is in.
Well, because
by pretending
to be like a dumb broad.
Like she was there for a meeting, sneaking away to the bathroom, going into the garage, finding her way to where his car is, pretending like she's lost to his security guard, tasing that motherfucker, dropping his body right in front of the car. The Roman's other security guard walks him over to the car, gets him in. Roman's like, where the fuck is the driver? Marla just opens the door, shanks him with a fucking needle, injects him with some kind of sedative, God knows where the fuck she got it, and then fucking tases the other one. And grabs his gun, and drives away with Peter Dinklage just fucking asleep in the backseat.
Yes. That part's really cool, but I think what happens next is even crazier, to be honest.
Well, yeah, but that deserves some...
No, I'm not saying it wasn't
some
badass.
props. The fact that Marla did all that is crazy.
She's a crazy bitch.
I guess she keeps fit with that Soul Cycle class that you see her in.
Yeah. Oh my god, I was like...
There's like random images of that throughout the whole movie. It's her like, riding a bicycle in
Marla,
this class.
She's got the vigor of a CrossFitter, though. Don't get me... I was like, why is she in fucking Soul Cycle? This girl should be doing CrossFit. She's crazy. But, okay, so anyway, yeah, they drug him, steal his car, take him into the wilderness, and leave him nude on a trail, and burn his car. This is the weird part, because I'm sitting here wondering, why didn't you kill him? Why are you leaving him here nude? Like, right? Were you not thinking that as well?
And they injected him with heroin.
Yeah, and you're like, why, though?
Or some kind of
some
opioid.
Drug, something. And I'm like, okay, I thought you were gonna fucking murder him. Like, I don't understand. And I think that's where the real genius comes in here.
Well, yeah, because they left him just naked in the woods. They drove his car to like some weird lot, set it on fire. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, like why not?
Did you kill him through the drugs and just leave him for his body to be found there?
Yeah, but that doesn't make sense either.
What's going on?
But that's where the real genius comes in. That's where the real artistry comes in. So basically he's discovered by a jogger. He doesn't know what's going on.
Also, that guy, not freaked out enough for finding a very small man naked in the woods.
Yeah, he basically found a midget in the woods.
And like calmly called 911.
But you're still like, what the fuck? So unable to establish his identity, the judge designates him a John Doe. And of course, he needs a legal guardian. And that is where Marla shows up. To take him on as one of her clients, I guess, or victims, if according to whoever wrote this Wikipedia page. Yeah, and she visits him in the hospital and offers to release him and Jennifer, his mother, for $10 million. So she comes back at it, like, for $10 million. She's like, I have you by the balls. I have your fucking mom. Like, there's nothing you can do, and I want my money.
This is particularly savage.
Because
she's been doing this to so many people. This is the way that she manipulates her world. And this guy thinks that he's so fucking powerful. He has all these people working underneath him. He has so much money. He makes money trafficking women and drugs.
Yeah. He's a bad dude.
And he wakes up from his alleged overdose with Marla sitting in the room. And he's intubated. Like, he can't talk. He's fucked up. And he wakes up to her just looking at him with a smirk on her face.
It's pretty amazing to see. It's really, to come to fruition, it's very satisfying.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Marla, the reason she fixates on this $10 million is she keeps saying that I could be more if I had more. The whole idea, like, the people who have a lot of money can make a lot of money. And you need to be a part of that, like, tax bracket, whatever. So the weird thing is that I kind of think that she should have stopped here and taken the money. But, of course, she's given another choice. Where he
came at her with an interesting
Well, he said, I'll give you the $10 million.
Opportunity.
Or they can partner up and do basically her scam, but on a global scale.
Well, national.
No, global. It says global.
They went global?
Global business based on her scam.
Well, it's because they were going to do vertical and horizontal integration. They were going to create a conglomerate, basically, of pharmaceutical companies, nursing home companies, and local operations of the caregiver grift that Marla was doing, so that they would have caregivers on a local level assimilating these victims, if you're going to go with the Wikipedia guy.
I don't know if I call them victims, but...
And then you would have the caregivers putting those victims into nursing homes that are owned and run by their company, and the nursing homes would source all of their medical equipment from the pharmaceutical and medical equipment companies that they also own.
Isn't it called a monopoly?
but in a different way.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Because they're not technically the only group
No, yeah, I understand.
in existence, so it's not a monopoly in that way. But they've monopolized the caregiving market because nobody's doing that.
So, basically the point here is that she will be making way more than $10 million.
Oh, billions. He said, let's make billions and
off of your genius, basically. Like, your
genius, my money, and let the trust come once we've made each other money. Like, he knows that they can't trust each other because she fucking kidnapped his mother and he's been trying to kill her this whole movie.
Yeah. But Marla flew a little too close to the sun. Is the moral of this story.
Almost not even because of what they did business-wise.
No, that's not true. Because it all goes back. It all goes back to the way with her scams.
Yes, but it goes back to her attitude. Not necessarily the scam. Because, ladies and gentlemen, Marla gets famous, right? She's the CEO of, I don't even remember, the company's named after her last name. You know what her last name is?
No.
Grayson.
Oh, Grayson.
Grayson Enterprises is this huge multinational conglomerate that controls all of the things that we've discussed. She's on, like, radio shows. She's on TV shows. And particularly, she's doing this interview with some guy on, like, some financial channel.
It's honestly a little bit emotional. Because it's so fucked up, but you're like, wow, she really made it.
She really has made it.
Yeah,
she's gotten the money that they were looking for. She's gotten the clout that they were looking for. She's only, I think she mentions that she's like 39 years old. So she's relatively young and very powerful and rich now.
She's very powerful and rich. And
they're driving a fantastic car. Yeah. She's still with Fran, so that's a successful relationship even after the change. They didn't get married.
No, they didn't get married.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she walks out of this interview and the same asshole from the beginning starts calling to her. And she doesn't look around. She's like, oh, la-di-da, just got out of my interview buzz. Yeah. This motherfucker shoots her right in the heart. Like, directly in the heart. Not even a chance of Marla surviving. And she dies bleeding out in Fran's arms. And that's the end of the fucking movie.
Yeah. Because he's arrested, but what he says is that his mom died alone in assisted living because no one would let him see her. That's what he said to her.
And so she died because she's an asshole, really.
But the scam is an asshole thing. That's the whole point.
But it doesn't have to be. She was particularly an asshole to that one guy.
No, he was a misogynist. He
didn't but she came at that in both a correct way and an incorrect way. Because really,
I think she should have had a bodyguard anyway at this point.
She should have just fucked him up when he spit in her face. I'll tell you that. What was she gonna do? Hit him? She said she was gonna rip his dick and balls off if he ever spit on her again.
Well, he shot her instead.
He already spit on you, bro. Grab his balls right there. Make it more than a threat. You know what I mean?
I think the fatal flaw was that she was so famous at this point and had so much money, she should have had a bodyguard. There's no reason that guy could have been around her.
If they were recording a show in a studio...
Yeah, there would have been a bodyguard anyway.
Not only a bodyguard, but there would be security around the campus.
That's what I'm saying. I think that part's bullshit. But I think it's supposed to be a moral of the story. I think she flew a little too high. She flew a little too high. And that... The patriarchy will always win. Yeah, no, I agree with that because...
That is true.
It's true. Because he was a misogynist. He said some crazy shit. I think he said he would rape her or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what the... You can't just... No. I mean, no. So that's
she could have even just not been the public-facing portion of the company.
It could have been... Well, it couldn't have been Roman.
No, it could have still been her company, but she didn't have to be doing interviews and shit like that.
Yeah, but like let her
Not
bask
every
in that.
CEO does interviews.
Yeah, but she
channels.
Was charismatic. Rosemund Pike. Honestly, this was another version of just Gone Girl to me. I know Greg.
And her outfits.
She was on
throughout the whole movie. She's fantastic.
I'm almost thinking she's like this in real life because she plays this character of a woman who's like doesn't hate men, but she's like a feminist who just doesn't give a fuck. She's hot. She's like fit.
The way she's talks
psycho.
to people.
Yeah, like she's hot. Like honestly, I'd fuck her. She's so hot. Sorry. I didn't even think I thought that until I just said it.
Really?
Yeah, but I think she'd dom me.
And you didn't think about that until now?
No, but she would dom me. I think you thought about having sex with her?
Not necessarily. I just thought of her as an incredibly sexual creature, but like in a scary way almost. She's scary.
She's scary. Yeah.
She scares the shit out of me.
Like a siren.
Yeah. I loved the length of her hair.
It's so good short. It's so good short.
But it doesn't work with a lot of people.
I know.
That length, particularly, really doesn't work with a lot of people. And it fucking rocked.
It over her shoulders.
Yeah, the way it moved. Her slender neck.
Yeah. She's a bad bitch.
The vaping, for whatever reason.
Yeah, the vaping works. Because normally you'd think it would be obnoxious to carry around such a big fucking vape.
Or you just look like a tool.
But
you
like,
would expect it almost looked powerful that she was vaping. Like when the guy was fucking threatening her life, the lawyer in her office, she was just vaping in his face. She kept blowing clouds out.
My real question is, what flavors does she like?
Yeah.
Is she into the savory?
I don't even like her tank. Like, if we're going to talk about vape technology, like, she didn't even have a good vape. She just had a really big, obnoxious vape. What the fuck is going on? I have the noise cancellation on, so I can't even hear it.
Anyway, Rosemund Pike, if you ever hear this, you girls
Fran
down.
was attractive too, but in a weirder way.
No, Fran's attractive, but like in a more classical way. Like, I'm just saying if I had to choose one.
You know who Fran reminds me of? You ever see Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Yes.
The Hispanic one.
Is it not her?
Is it her?
It might be. Look at her. I don't know, but she does look like that woman.
No, it's not her.
You're sure?
Yeah, I'm entirely sure it's not her. Because I actually find the one from Brooklyn Nine-Nine more attractive.
I'm just saying, just check.
Well, unless I'm entirely wrong. Hold up.
We have to check this.
Oh, I'm offline. Of course I am, because Nicolette
didn't pay her internet. Sorry. Why is it just not showing me? Cast. Okay, wait. Fran, Eiza, blah, blah, blah. Oh, wait. You're right.
Yeah, it's not her.
She was in...
Similar vibe, but...
Oh, yeah. Fast and Furious spinoff, Hobbs and Shaw. I don't know. Who played the mom? Oh.
Although maybe Rosa's only hot in the fucking show. Because she... I don't know. No, she's hot.
Rosemund Pike definitely is hot.
No, not Rosemund Pike. Rosa from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh. Okay. But anyway, y'all, like, that's really the movie. This is actually one of the Netflix movies where there's hype right now, and it's kind of worth it.
And honestly, it has... It still does have that this is a Netflix movie vibe.
Yes, because it really ought to not be funny. Because when it's not funny, like when it's Gone Girl, because that's basically, Gone Girl is so similar to me in terms of that character, that when it's not funny and when it's made by an actual filmmaker and it's like made by like actual people, you're like, yo, this is scathing. Like, this was funny and this was good, but like that movie, you're like, whoa, like, whoa.
Well, because it being funny raises the entertainment value for like the average
Joe
butthole who watches the movie.
Damn, we're calling.
But I see what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's why.
But this has also been the best movie that we've seen so far for this podcast, entertainment-wise.
Yes, because we've only seen 4. We have to film another episode.
Didn't even have to mention that because I'm just going to post them consecutively.
Yeah, but we're just talking. It's a casual thing, I thought. Like, we're, you know,
we're
finding our groove.
We're going to figure it the fuck out, guys.
You know, you're our friends right now.
Give us a minute. Or several episodes.
Yeah, but that's it.
Okay, so what would you rate it?
Okay, on 10. That's right. I would give this movie a solid...
With decimals, if you want. Which I guess is basically a rating out of 100, but go ahead.
Okay, but what I'm trying to think is, what is a 10? Like, what film of mine would be a 10? Like, in real life? Like, am I comparing it to? Like, one of my favorite films is a 10?
Because the problem is a 10 in a between genres is completely different things.
That's technically true. I guess for the genre...
Just for the vibe. For the vibe, what do you rate it?
I guess an 8.5. Yeah, I would say an 8.5. It was very enjoyable. It actually had good actors. Like, it was a good time. I'm not saying it's perfect. Probably just because Netflix made it. But it could have been.
Well, Netflix didn't make it. They're just distributors.
Well, yes, but I meant like it still felt like
it's a Netflix original.
Yeah. If it wasn't a Netflix original, it probably would be higher.
If I saw it in the theaters, I'd probably give it a 9.
Okay, yeah, I feel that.
Because of the fact that I saw it at home, and it does have that sort of vibe to it.
I just hope the buttholes understand what we mean by this vibe thing.
Well, I guess that's what our rating should be anyway. It's more of a vibe check than like an actual rating until we get into, well, I don't even know. Either way, 8.6.
Okay, so we're pretty much together.
Definitely worth watching.
Oh, yeah. If you're going to watch something on Netflix, definitely watch this. You'll enjoy it.
Just worth it.
Yeah, it's definitely a good time. Like I didn't regret it at all.
Heavily entertaining. No regrets. Rosemund Pike.
Made me just want to watch Gone Girl again.
I should probably see it for the first time ever. Bye, guys.
Bye.